what we know now, but didn't know then, just how important Loki Season 1 was going to be to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in our Marvel Monday.
But before we get into that, as always, if you want to become a day one, real one, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button.
We are your Distorted Theorists. Join us as we get into our Loki Season 1 trailer reaction review and our breakdown right now.
I know what
this show was
is.
so weird.
But we were getting one of our beloved characters back.
I know.
That we thought was gone.
But it was
Timekeepers have built quite the
appropriately weird.
circus. And I see the clowns are playing their parts to perfection.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound
Owen
super
Wilson.
smart.
I know.
I am smart.
I know.
Great casting choice.
Okay.
Okay.
Mobius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please sign to verify this is everything you've ever said.
It's absurd.
Seems like it should be thicker.
Sign this too.
The introduction of the TVA as well, I think, was a little bigger than we thought it was ever going to be.
You picked up the Tesseract, breaking reality. I want you to help us fix it.
Such an
made
amazing
sense, though.
premise.
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Do I get a weapon?
Nah.
I love how it was using him to
Find him.
be a fraud. But yeah.
You really believe in this Loki?
He's a
variant?
consultant against similar
Luckily,
crimes.
he believes in himself enough for the both of us.
Why? It is
Notice how they
adorable
leave her out of every
that you
shot
think
in
you
this.
could possibly manipulate
Well, I think she is, but it's just not her. It is her, but you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
And that wasn't him.
You can trust me.
Loki, I've studied almost every moment of your entire life. You've literally stabbed people in the back like 50 times.
True.
I'd never do it again.
There she was. This was the first, well, not the first necessarily, but the biggest dive into the multiverse, as it were, where you got to see, well, how many Lokis were there that we had? We had
In this show?
yeah, we had, the President Loki, which is the one where you always
Right.
see him.
And
There
Sylvie.
was Sylvie, there's Loki, there's the kid, there's the alligator, there's where you did see, and all the other, you saw the frog Thor and all that stuff.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a bunch of other, then there's the gold old Loki.
Yeah, there was just a lot of Easter eggs in this.
There was, and the TVA was something that just kind of blew us, because it wasn't sinister. It was sinister in the aspect of what is going on here. But they were just they were an impartial.
There was corruption there.
Yeah, but they were still impartial for the most part. We're just kind of filling everything out. And then when they opened the drawer, I think it was in the second or third episode when it was oh, these things, they were a million Infinity
But
Stones in there.
they got flack for that. I mean, Marvel, there was a lot of fans who didn't, they thought it belittled the whole Infinity War saga because of that.
But
Thoughts?
but it would be in terms of multiverse, because the fact that we looked at it was oh, this is so much bigger. But then in one of the other multiverses or one of the other universes, that never happened. It was a bigger thing, which is why this was not necessarily important, but just that was huge. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. What it was is that the TVA was saying that everything loses its power inside the TVA. So once you transferred the Infinity Stones from any multiverse, they just didn't work anymore. So they were absolute use. A paperweight, I think, is what they said. But on top of that, I think in the beginning, I don't know if Marvel knew what they were going to get when they had Loki. In the sense, I'm trying to word this correctly. They introduced us to the TVA. They brought back a beloved character that I think a lot of us thought was going to be gone for good. But the character growth that they allowed Tom Hiddleston to portray as Loki in this gave him a redemption arc, which I don't think is something that we knew we were getting when we seen Loki season 1.
No, and it was it was, I don't, again, it's not important, but it was necessary because then with where we're headed with the MCU and where we're going to see Doomsday and Secret Wars, there's something to this. Because again, this was setting up Kang.
Yeah, it was. But I feel like, just to pivot before we get to He Who Remains, is that I feel like this show just did a really good job of, the focus was to show Loki that his actions has consequences. So as much as
he never saw them.
Right, and he never saw them, but this was putting it on full display.
Except was it before this that he saw that his actions led to his mother getting killed? Because he never really dwelt on that.
No, I can't remember, to be honest. I just know that, like, and it wasn't necessarily his actions specifically, it was more of the Loki name's actions. Yeah. Because that's why Sylvie was taken, because you're a Loki, gotta go type thing, right? But it gave him perspective to change who he was, because Loki was always the jokester,
he was the
meddler.
trickster.
Yeah, the meddler. But now he was like, I got to put myself in check a little bit.
I can be better.
Yeah, and of course we know what happens in season 2, but we'll save that for another Marvel. But yeah, then we get to, obviously they were setting up Kang. He Who Remains. We had no idea. I don't recall us as in fans knowing Kang was the one that we were ultimately going to see. I think that was secret, because I remember when the chair turned around and it was Jonathan Majors. I was like,
people were speculating, and that's what it was. But again, like, Kang wasn't a threat.
Not yet.
Well, he wasn't, and this is the thing, because as we know, we moved into Quantumania.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, this is Kang. Yeah. All right, I get it. And then there was Loki season 2. I'm like, oh, that was Kang.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I know everything with Jonathan Majors aside of him, whatever he did in his personal life that kiboshed it all. But I think, as on one hand, I could see how they thought it was going to be really cool, but on the other hand, I think it was his downfall, is having more than one Kang. I just feel like it's something about the threat, knowing that there was multiples, as we're just having that one definitive Kang. But I don't think we really got to that one definitive Kang.
Well, we didn't need to have that, because as we can see, well, it's not that we didn't need to have it. It just didn't work at the time, because we had all the multiple Lokis. And then we went to, because again, this is where the multiverse is going. But then we now know where things are going in terms of, we might not have multiple people, but we might have like different universes kind of coalescing. Yeah. So I remember, again, this will probably never ever be confirmed, but what the synopsis of where the Kang dynasty was going to go, no, it was not.
I don't know. I hate to compare it to, and we're off, not to say we're off a little track of Loki, but obviously at the end of Loki, we got Kang, or He Who Remains. But it's kind of like Ultron in the Avengers Age of Ultron. I didn't enjoy the threat, because they were just killing Ultron off and he would just jump to another body. So it's kind of the same thing with Kang. Is like, yeah, I killed Kang, woohoo. But then it's like, oh, but there's another Kang. And you're like, oh, so he wasn't that hard to defeat, but multiples of them makes him a threat.
But again, that's what Kang is.
Yeah.
Kang was that. Kang the Conqueror in the comics is very similar to that. But Loki, Loki was, again, right up there with WandaVision. That right amount of weird when it came to how weird comic stories can be. And with the TVA being basically in amongst the cells and atoms of everything, and this is where everything was, and that's where everything is controlled from. And the 70s, like everything was this tan beige, and it was just like,
well, it was like stuck in time.
Yes, and it worked. And then Miss Minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
And I remember when it was like, okay, Miss Minutes came and went, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then there was that one tweet.
Oh, there was a bunch.
From Ryan Reynolds being like, nice meeting you, Miss Minutes, or whatever. And we're like, that's where Deadpool and Wolverine is going to go. But like, people are, how is this going to work? And then we get to go back to the TVA and meet one of the funny, well, I get it was Deadpool anyways.
Yeah.
But I loved what they did with this, and now the more that we're talking about this, I've only ever watched the shows once, and now I'm like, I want to go back. Well, I'm watching Star Wars Visions now. When that's over, I'm going to.
I think, Loki. and with all due respect to all the Marvel characters, I think that is why this one's, because we had WandaVision, then we had a couple not so great ones, and then we got to Loki, which blew up. But I think they should have picked and choose the characters that needed more depth. Like, we wanted to know more about Loki. We wanted to know more about Wanda's backstory or future or whatever. But like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter.
But the thing about it is, and I mentioned this before too, in terms of like Star Wars or other stuff. Like, I want to have shows that are set in the Marvel, Star Wars, the Lord of the Rings universe that are not like, oh yeah, the Jedi are doing that stuff, but it's just like, yeah, but I'm just like a lowly Tatooine vendor that's trying to make, like, I want to know those struggles and how the Empire sticks in that. I want to see, there was a show that there was supposed to be done, I'm pretty sure it was in the DC universe, but it could have been Marvel as well, that had Danny Pudi was in it, that revolved around damage control. Like, yes, all this stuff is happening. And it's like, well, what's the fallout from it? And it doesn't necessarily need to be like dramatic.
Like
and,
a peek beyond the curtain almost.
Yeah, like I don't need to hear about the space wizards all the time. I don't need to see about all the hobbits and all that stuff. I just want to have like, here's some stories about the regular Joes. And we kind of saw that in the Rings of Power, but all their stories are important. I want to hear about stories and watch stories by people that are like, it doesn't matter. And he's like, this is happening in this universe, and their story is important, but it's not really going to affect that. That was the one person that walked out in the middle of the road that Spider-Man had to catch. Like, no, I don't want that. It was just like, oh, there goes Spider-Man again. Or the people that like have stories about the like groupies that follow and are obsessed with Loki, and they're like, oh my god, how
the cosplays, we've seen a lot of those.
The cosplays, do something like The Office, where it's just like the people that are like, they're doing like the interviews with the people that are like, oh my god, I love Loki because he did this. Well, did you hear about that? And then the other group is So these stories that they're doing about with these characters are great and everything because we've seen them, but like, do some stuff on the outside. Like, that might be influencing. Again, I always come back to Andor, and like those stories, like Andor wasn't a thing until Rogue One, but then you realize after all of these big stories that are told, they're like, this was important. This was how the rebellion started, and maybe
the puzzle
that's
pieces.
Like maybe that can be. Give me a show about how the process to create the super soldier serum came through, because that would be the start of everything here. Give me a show about life on Asgard.
Well, you know what? I think.
Anyways, Loki.
I think Loki was an important piece to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I don't think we knew how important it was.
We don't know where
season 2,
and even then, we still don't know where this is going to go because we've heard about a pocket universe in Doomsday.
Doomsday is
soon.
Only a day away.
That's enough video.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our Marvel Monday throwback to Loki Season 1 trailer reaction review and breakdown. As always, if you want to support our channel and you want to become a Day One Real One, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit our like button, and leave us a comment down below. Did you enjoy Loki Season 1? Did it make you stick around enough to enjoy Loki Season 2? And where and what do we think Loki is up to come Doomsday?
It's got a few splinters, I can tell you that much.
And with that, I am the real Jussy.
I'm Peter Parkour. Like we always say around here,
keep it real.